Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a Bluey cake topper. So first I'm going to start off with some light blue Saraceno, and we're going to roll this into kind of like a bit of a rectangle block shape. Now I'm doing Bluey as kind of like a 2D, so you would see him from similar as how he would be on the program. And I'm just being really rough with this shape right now because I'm going to roll it out to make sure I've got a flat surface to work with and there's no sort of like lumps and bumps. So I'm going to roll it out with my rolling pin and just smooth it over with my hands, trying to keep that block shape for his body, and leaving the top so it's quite rounded, so it's straight at the legs, but the top it's square, but it's rounded a little bit at the top. And then with the same colour we're going to roll out some sausages for the legs. Don't go too thin with this bit. We're just going to roughly cut them, and then we're going to cut that in half because it's got quite short stumpy legs. Just make sure they're roughly the same length, and we're going to pop that to one side to firm up. And then in some lighter blue we're going to make the belly. So roll this quite thin because it doesn't want to stand up off the fondant too much. We're just going to cut out a rough shape for that bit on the belly. I'm going to put it at the bottom, tuck over any excess, and then trim that from the bottom like so, and just removing that off. And then with the same light blue we're going to roll out and flatten one side just for the feet. So you can see I'm just pressing that on the board. And then we're going to put in some lines for the paws. And then we're going to trim these down a little bit to size. Now our legs should have firmed up while we've been doing this. And then we're going to put the two together like so. And we're going to attach these to the body with a kebab skewer. So you want to get a kebab skewer, trim it to the length that's needed. So it needs to go some through the body, some through the foot, and then enough to just dowel into the cake as well. So you want two of these roughly the same size, and we're going to chop down the legs to size, making sure they're both the same. And then just with a little bit of water for this bit, we're going to stick those together. And then with the kebab skewer, when you're going in, if you twist, it stops the fondant from going down. So you want to twist and go down. And then you might need to neaten up the line that you've just made, where the two join together. And you can do that with your scriber needle. Mine's actually bent a little bit, that's why it's angled like that. So like that, and you're going to do both of those the exact same, like so. And then I've got a 4-inch dummy that's got some holes from previous figures already put in there, and I'm going to put the feet in there, just a nice distance apart but not too wide. And then we're going to slot the body on top of that, like so. And then we're going to do the arms, so similar to the legs, we're going to roll out some sausages. And then we're going to trim these down to size, again keeping it the same. And then the paws at the front, same blue, but this time we're going to flatten the area for the paw like so. And then we're going to cut out a triangle for the thumb, and then we're going to round off that edge a little bit. And then you're going to cut the other paws in there, so we're just going to put 2 slices in there. And then just spread them out with your fingers and just round them off a little bit. It doesn't need to be too neat for these ones because it's not fingers, it's just his paws are quite chunky anyway. And then we're just going to roll back and forth just to create a bit of separation between the hand and the rest of the arm. We're going to chop the edge off and then attach that to the dark blue arm. Then we've got some darker blue. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the tail. So we're going to roll out, again we've got some of the light blue from earlier on, we're going to do the same with the dark blue. and we're just going to chop that down and stick that on. And then just with your Dresden tool, we're going to create some lines in at the end, like so, just to make it look a bit more fur-like. You can go and make those a bit deeper if you want, like so. And then with the same blue, we're just going to roll out this oblong shape that's rounded at either side, and this is what we're going to use to create the eyes. So we're just going to wrap that around. And I haven't used any water on this part, because if I was to use water, when it comes to chopping off the excess, there would be the mark of the dark blue fondant on the light. So it's sticking itself because the fondant's quite tacky anyway. And I'm just going to go in with the handle of a brush, and I'm just going to neaten up those joins at the top. And then with the scalpel, I'm then just going to go cut this to the shape that I actually want it to be. And you can see that because I've not put any water on, that bit's just coming off, and it's not leaving any residue on the light blue. And you're going to do this for both sides of his eyes, like so, and then just pushing parts with your thumb if needed. If you've taken a bit too much off, you can just push that back out with your thumb a little bit until you've got something that looks like this. And then with a ball tool, we're just going to mark in roughly where we want the eyes to go, not pressing too deep because we don't want to move the fondant that's there. And then with the same dark blue, we're just going to do the ears. So roll out some cones and then chop off the excess to make it nice and flat. Go in with the Dresden tool to create the middle part of the ear, and again just neaten off the bottom of that. Then I've got some skin toned fondant I'm going to roll into a little bit of a triangle as well, and then we're just going to pop this in the middle of the ear, like so. And you're going to do that for both of the ears. You're just going to push that in with the Dresden tool just to neaten it up a little bit. And again, trimming off any excess if needed. I think I just tucked it under though. And then with the same colour, we're going to then create the nose area. Now for this one, I'm just again flattening it with my rolling pin, and we're going to use our fingers to create an edge on one side. So you can see I'm using the knife there just to create a sort of like a squarish edge. It still needs to be quite rounded though, so not too square. That's why I've not cut it with the knife and I'm just using my fingers. We're going to chop off a little bit. Now this is where the base of our mouth is going to be, so I'm just roughly doing this at the moment just to see what shape I'm going to make. And then we're going to put in the mouth. I'm just using my finger to smooth that over. Now that's a bit too deep, so I'm going to take off a little bit, like so, and I need to move the mouth over a little bit. So you can see I'm still trying to keep that square shape at the front. And I'm just going to change the position of the mouth, so I'm just going to bring it forward a little bit, and then I'm going to smooth out that area from before where I put the mouth in. And then we're going to trim off the excess here. So we're just going to cut it straight line off. So you can start to see this is the shape of his mouth now and his nose area. Trying to keep it very pointy at the side. And I'm just smoothing anything. And it wants to be angled a little bit, so it's a little bit further forward at the top. And then we're going to chop off just a bit of a round shape, and that's going to give us his lip at the back, and then we're just flattening there because that's where the eyeball's going to sit. So we're curving it in a little bit, so you can see it comes in at the top there, and we're bringing out that pouch bit for the back of the mouth. We're just going to mark in the mouth a little bit more, and then create the curve at the end of the mouth, and then flatten there. This is where the eyeball's going to sit. I'm going to chop off the excess at the top, like so. And then with the whites, we're going to make some round oval shapes for the eyeballs. Pop in a little triangle at the top, that's just for the nose. We're going to stick one of the eyeballs on first, and then just with a bit of black, we're going to go in for the pupil area. Like so. Again, not using any water because it'll stick to itself. Then I've just got some lighter blue, and I'm just going to put this on the back of his mouth. So I've added a little bit of white to this one. This is just because if you look at a picture, he's kind of got like a little lighter shade of blue around his mouth. And then we're going to pop that on the face, covering up half of the eyeball. And then the next eyeball on the front there, I'm just going to pop that in place, just making sure that you don't misshape it. And then again with the little bit of black for the pupil, like so. And I'm just smoothing out that lighter blue that's just around the mouth. And then a little triangle of dark blue for the nose. Then we're going to attach the ears with a little bit of water. These should have been firmed up by now, so there's a bit of, you can apply a bit of pressure, but you can also move them. And neaten up that bit there that I've done where you can see sort of like a little bit of a dint there. So for the arms, we're going to chop off at an angle. This is going to make sure that they stick to the body nice and flush. And the same with the tail. So we're going to attach the tail first with a little bit of water, just at the back, popping out to the opposite side that his face is facing. And then I'm just taking a little bit more off the arms, and then just with a little bit of water, we're going to apply these to the side of the body. Like so. And then I've rolled out some black fondant, really thin, just to go around the eyes. Now you can paint this on, but I just find it easier to roll out the fondant and place it on rather than getting a really neat line. So we're just going to wet the sides of the eyeball, and then you can see there that I've left it to stiffen up a little bit first. And I'm just pushing it into place. And then we're just going to join the two parts up and then chop off the excess. And you're going to do the same for the other eye. We're going to apply some dark blue dots on the body, trying to match it up with the picture that I've got here of Bluey. And then some light blue for the eyebrows. We're just going to pop those on a little bit of an angle, on a bit of a slope downwards, like so. Trying to get them to bend a little bit, and that's what you should have. Here's the finished cake. You could easily swap the colours out to make Bluey's friend. I'm not fully sure what that one's called, but I hope you've liked today's video. If you have, please see some more of my videos on the screen now, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.